This story is about a young girl, Neela, and her magical garden. Neela lived with her grandmother in a small village. Grandmother was the oldest and wisest woman in the village, and Neela loved to listen to her stories. One day, Grandma gave Neela an old, dusty key. She said, "Neela, this key unlocks our family's secret. Outside the village on the old mountain, there is a hidden garden. This key will open the door to that garden. Remember, this garden does not have ordinary flowers and plants, but something special." Neela became excited. The next day, she climbed that old mountain and found an old stone door at the place mentioned by her grandmother. The key, it fit perfectly, and the door opened with a muffled sound. The scene inside was wonderful. It was a garden like the one Neela had never seen before. A sweet fragrance filled the air, and colorful flowers were shining, just as they had their own light. Here were tall trees on which were hanging not fruits, but small shining stars. A small river was flowing through the middle of the garden, whose water was shining like silver, blue spinning around. She began to look at the garden. She saw a plant whose leaves looked like ears. As soon as she touched it, she heard a whisper from a distance. On another tree sat small birds with colorful feathers, which were a mungor. They were not singing, but telling stories. In the middle of the garden, a small hut appeared to Neela. She slowly moved towards it. The door of the hut was slightly open. Dim light was coming from inside. Neela, having mustered the courage, he opened the door a little further and peeped inside. Inside the hut sat an old man, whose long white beard reached his knees. His eyes were shining, and in front of him lay an open old. The book was kept, whose pages were turning by themselves. The old man saw Neela and smiled. "Come, child," he said softly. "I was waiting for you." The old man smiled at Neela and gestured him to come in with affection. Inside the hut was a dim and comfortable light, which collided with the herbs and strange-looking things hanging on the walls and became even more, it seemed, mysterious. There was a mixture of dried flowers and some sweet fragrance in the air. "Don't be afraid, child," said the old man, his voice possessing deep peace. "My name is Vanpal, and I am the guardian of this garden. I have been here for many years. I was waiting for you." Neela hesitated a little, but she saw no danger in the forester's eyes. She slowly went inside and sat on a small stool that the forester had slid towards her. "Grandmother said, he told me about this garden," Neela said softly. "He said it was a magical place." The forest guard nodded. "Yes, it is magical, but this magic didn't just appear. It is connected to the soul of this earth. Yes, and it must always be kept balanced." She touched the open pages of the book with her finger, and they began to turn slowly again. "This book tells the stories of this garden, its strengths and its weaknesses. It tells in." "Can you tell me more about this garden?" Neela asked curiously. The forest guard took a deep breath. "This garden was built centuries ago. Our ancestors collected the most wonderful things of nature here. It was gathered. Here are plants that can feel emotions, waterfalls that have the power to see the future, and trees that hold memories." Neela's eyes widened in surprise. "Is it really?" "Yes," said the forest guard. "But this magic has a price. It must always be used with respect and caution. If misused, the garden may wither and lose its power." Then, the hut, a faint glow appeared outside. The forest ranger looked towards the window, and lines of worry appeared in his eyes. "Something is not right," he said. "Something is wrong in the garden." He got up and looked towards Neela. "Child, why did your grandmother send you here? Did she tell you to do anything special?" Neela tried to remember. Grandmother had only given the key and told about the garden. She hadn't mentioned any special work. "No, Neela said. "They just asked me to see this garden." The forest guard stroked his beard and fell into deep thought. Perhaps it is no coincidence that you are here today. Perhaps the garden called you." Also, a loud sound echoed in the garden, as if something was breaking. The forest guard's face became even more serious. "We must see what is happening," he said. "Come with me."